Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to do this a little differently with a touch screen. I usually film these with a Mobi writer, but it's driving me nuts today. So let's just work on this. So this is a Kakuro. So I think I'm saying it right. They're Japanese. They're kind of like a Sudoku, but kind of like a tougher one, a mathy one. I like to put it. Okay. So what you look at is same sort of rule. So here we have a 4, right? Which means that this box and this box add up to 4, and you have the digits from 0 through 9. And you cannot repeat. So, for example, it can't be 2 and 2. So this can't be 2 and 2. It has to be 1 and 3. Now, where is it 1 and where is it 3? Nothing is standing out right now. This sort of thing. I'm trying to see if I can find anything that's telling me to do with certain things. Like so, this 10 says these add up to 10. This 9 says these add up to 9. This 29 goes across and adds up to 29. Now, if you've done enough of these, you can look at this and say, well, what's the biggest number you can get with 4 numbers? If you go 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6, you can get 30. So that means that this guy here has to be 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5. That's the only way to get 29. All right. So I think that is kind of leading us over here, because if this is, so we have the numbers 9, 8, 7, and 5. And if you ask yourself what number can go here, if this is a 7 or an 8 or a 9, then if this column is going to add up to 9, then we're in trouble, because then the only way to get 2 more digits to add up to 9 would for them to be 1 and 1 or 2 and 0, and 0 doesn't put 0 here. 1. Okay, I bet you a bunch of you were yelling earlier. Okay, so let me see if I can clean this up a bit and figure out what's going on here. So that means to me that if this row here has 9875 in it, this has to be a 5, right? Anything else won't work. Now, if that's a 5, this probably has to be the next, this guy here probably has to be the next lowest number, right? If it's a 9 or an 8, we're going to be too big once we add up 2 digits to get to 10. This is your 7. Now, if that's a 7, does that make anything else anything? Let me think right now. So I don't know if it does. If we make this a 2, will this work? That's a 7. No, that'll be a 2. Okay, so that can't be a 2 and a 2, right? Because 3 has to be 2 and 1, right? So if that's a 2, the other one's a 2 because the column adds up to 9. So that's no good, which is good. No good is good. Does that make sense? Only math people would understand that. So that's a 1, that's a 5, that's a 3, that's a 2, and that's a 1. Okay, so if that's where we are right now, let's keep going and see if we can figure out what's going on. Those add up to 4, so that's what's left over here is 16. 16 has to be what 2 digits add to 16? They have to be 9 and 7, right? 8 and 8, 9 and 7. Can't be 8 and 8, it has to be 9 and 7. So this is a 9 and that's a 7, and that's a 9 and an 8. So I think we're in good shape here. Because if we think about this right now, then this here has to be a 3 and a 1. Okay, now not in order. If it looks sloppy, that's on purpose. So if we look at column 1 and column 2, and we say those are the digits that have to be in these rows across 3, 1, 9, 7, 9, 8, not in that order, of course. How do we make these things work out? And I think what we look at is we look at the lower of the two numbers, 17, and we say what numbers can I use here in this column of these 6? Okay, I'm gonna erase everything of this 6 so that I get 17. And I think it only works one way, because if I go with this, if I go 9 here, I have to go 8 here. One of these is a 9, right? I have to have a 9 in this column, I have to have a 9 in this column because I have double 9s there. So now, let me clean this up. So get what I'm saying here? So I can't have there are 2 9s here. They can't be in the same column, so one has to be in each column. So if I put a 9 here, that makes this an 8, and I already have 17. I'm fine. Which means I think we're all cleaned up here. That this has to, which means what just happened? Which means this has to be a 7, right? There's my 9, there's 16, there's 17, that's a 3, keep going, 9, and then we're left with 8. Does that work? Hope they all work out. Okay, try them out. I like these things. Hope you like them too. See you.